Now's the time to do it.
I have a question for you. Where'd you get your earrings?
Such a fabulous question. Actually, there's a woman in Chicago who's working with young ladies who were incarcerated, and she's teaching them how to make jewelries. So you also can get necklaces to match and bracelets. I can only afford the earrings right now.
Cool. Any non-performers with questions?
I have a question. I forgot your first name.
Tony.
Tony. I lived in Washington, D.C. during the 80s too, and I do remember you and your work around the country. But I was very curious of the things that you chose to put in the sketches of D.C. sites and places were eclectic but very telling for me. But I just wondered, why did you pick leads and tracks and all these different iconic things?
Well, one of the things, it's funny because most people don't know about tracks. And then most people don't know that U Street was a place back in the 80s where if you said you were going to U Street, people were like, what are you getting over there? Like to the point where like if somebody said, I saw your mama on U Street, and you took off your earrings and you put on your Vaseline and you were about to fight, because they were calling your mother a prostitute. Now you'd be saying, oh, was she buying a latte or a condo? Right? So it's just, I just wanted to show also change as well in those places. And then even though tracks is right on the border of Southeast and Southwest, I did want to have that kind of reference. And that's actually part of a trilogy, because there's also a time when there's a poem that I have about going to church over at Union Temple Baptist Church in Southeast. And if anybody knows anything about Anacostia, Washington, D.C., it was the home of Frederick Douglass, and then it became the home of Berry Farms and like all these projects. And now it's back on the rise again. But yeah, it used to be like to go to church, you had still better be out the neighborhood by sundown. And then my grandmother lived in far northeast, and so that's a whole nother poem about taking Kenilworth Avenue all the way out to northeast, which we thought was like, you know, God's backyard. It was like so far away. And like you'd rather go to Baltimore than go to northeast DC if you lived in DC. It was like, and mind you, we said Baltimore was called Be More, as in be more careful. So yeah, so I mean, so there are a couple of things that but I wanted to give at least like the northwest side going down.
Yeah, sure, I could see myself walking down the street. I lived around the corner from Lee's.
And I'm sorry, and Lee's being the oldest black florist in DC and was still able to survive. Metro came through U Street and destroyed almost all of the black businesses except for Lee's Florist and Ben's Chili Bowl. And so at that time, that's probably, those are the only two like landmarks that are still there. Yes.
Has your work been destroyed by being in books, or are you selling audio tapes and stuff like that at least?
I've done a couple of anthologies. I mean, I'm publishing like anthologies. I did a CD many years ago in Boston, so it's not in print anymore. But I just haven't had the time, nor the band in Chicago, because I loved jazz, and I modeled my performances after Carmen McRae. And so it's hard to find a band that can kind of keep up with that kind of energy. And then with a 3-year-old, I don't have the energy to actually search. You know, you have to do the bar troll to find your band. And well, you know, a husband and a child don't really allow for much bar trolling anymore. But soon come.
I'll talk to you about the band.
Jim's question was where Simone got her hat.
I got my hat. Oh, I actually got my hat at Charming Charlie's in Highland Park, Oklahoma.
Charming Charlie?
Charming Charlie.
Did you pick it out or did you?
Oh, I picked it out. I love fedoras. I love jewelry.
All right, Phil, you're past your quota for questions tonight.
But I'm here, honey. You can ask me anytime we're done.
Does anyone else have a question here? We'll get back to you, Phil. Tom?
Tony, have you ever hung out at or gotten over to Bridge Street Books and Rod Smith and any of those guys?
In Chicago?
No, in Washington.
No, my favorite bookstores back in the day, I left DC in 2000, So my favorite bookstores would be Vertigo back on DuPont Circle, and then I would go to like Chapters, and then Politics and Prose. So those are my like 3 really main haunts. And of course, I love libraries. There's nothing like free to me. I'm from DC, right? The taxpayer, that costs pay for everything, so I was like, let's use them up. I still say, please love a librarian, and if you can't do that, love a library.
Any other questions? Leah, I kind of would just like to ask who, obviously you're like hitting a niche that you don't see represented in mainstream music. So who would you say, like, if you like me, these are some of my influences, these are people I dig on?
I'm not like anyone else, actually. There's nothing similar. Very unique and no. Planet X Records is a record label. It's like it has a lot of just singer songwriters who make funny songs, kind of sometimes funny, I guess. Planet X Records, if you like me, I guess. Yeah.
Can I say 2 things about what I was hearing from you?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a
Can I not
fantastic.
use this? Can I just speak loudly? I think.
I think you. No, I think I hear it. I know I'm real loud. So, being of a certain age,
Yes.
I was hearing, and it was mentioned back here, the Smothers Brothers, right? And so that little kind of commentary, the funniness that goes on with that, of course, the guitar. But then there's also like, if, and I didn't like the show, but I did watch it. But it's like, if Phoebe from Friends actually had talent.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, totally did. Okay, this
I like that.
We just got named.
Please, you got to start with smell again.
Right on. Any other questions before
I'll try to
I go in the back?
I don't remember your name, but sorry, lady, sorry.
Leah.
How much were your CDs?
Free. I have 3. You want one?
Yeah.
All right. I'll grab it to the car. Oh, actually, it's fine.
Yes.
You want one? Yeah. All right. Then I'll go on.
All right.
I do have a question.
One more question from
Since we're talking about influences.
Yes.
Oh, influences?
Yeah.
Wow. This sounds really cliche, but my mother is my influence. No, but there's a reason why. We were a board game family. Dominoes, Monopoly. But me and my mother played Scrabble. My mother she has a degree in English from the University of Illinois. So yeah, we played Scrabble from the time I was probably about 7, and the woman would not let me win. Okay, so I had this type of mother who, when you asked her, how do you spell it? She says, look it up, look it up.
That's right.
She sent me to the dictionary to look up pneumonia. So do you know how long? Okay, I'm not, I wasn't a slow kid, but I didn't know that P's could be that. So she's a word hound, okay? And so I'll never forget, I was 15 when I finally beat her. And she refuses to play me. To this day. But no, I'm a word freak. And she is the person that she saw it in me and developed it. And actually submitted 10 lines of my journal to a poetry competition in which I won 3rd place. I didn't know she did it. She went into my journal to do it. But that's when I realized I didn't just write. It came out a certain way. So.
Would you call yourself a 6-foot lady?
Call myself a
6-foot lady.
what?
What's that mean? Oh,
I
boy.
mean, somebody that was all a foot and a half long.
I am accused amongst my friends of using college words too much. But it is actually a part of, words are just a part of my vocabulary. It's just what happens when
That's the best one.
We'll be looking for that word music
The biggest part.
Whenever you use the right sometimes you have to, the words can be fun if you only look around. Euphemism can be fun if you only look around.
Sure. You're absolutely correct.
All right, Phil's got his hand up. This is going to be the last one. The last question of the night. Here we go. And then on a good one.
Phil. All right, I'm going to sock college with you guys, so I'm going to try it anyway. the lady in the center, enunciates clearly, but I'm just wondering, have all of you studied speech and diction and all that kind of stuff and learning how to sing and speak and stuff like that so that people can actually get your words like you in the center? Wow, we got your words and they were meaningful and stuff like that. Ma'am, you were, oh my God. You left us hanging, you know?
You said what?
I couldn't get you.
I understand your word. You know what?
A common question from Phil.
I can take that. I actually, okay, my mother made me talk proper English, but I also had one of my minors is in speech communication. I'm not making excuses. Today I felt that I rushed through. I have a lot on my head, and I'm really sorry that I didn't slow down and I didn't choose to use the microphone sooner.
I have nerves too.
You said what?
I have nerves too.
Nerves. I could probably use a shower too, but for me it's still a learning process. Even, Kelsey knows that I didn't project for a long time. It took a lot for me to be able to throw and keep it going. I'm normally very soft-spoken, so it's a work in progress.
I know it's part of your shtick to hide a little bit behind your speech. I think it's part of your shtick that you hide a little bit behind your speech. And then this lady,
All right, Phil, you get to come out. You get to come out. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for tolerating Phil's questions. Thank you so much to our. Oh wait, Mary has something to say.
The Queen was.
Larry's got something
I
to
just
say.
want to say for this lovely soul spirit here, sometimes we sketch in the dark and in the smoky dark, not the black, I'm losing my way kind of dark, but everyone has reached for a pencil or pen, a finger, and wrote down a number or a sketch or something, and that's what your soul was portraying today. And it was what it was, and I felt it and I received it. And as you were being strength for your wounded sister, that I hope that's what people do.
Right on.
Sometimes we sketch